everybody, the Great Dino Ranger here again, back with another review. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Jurassic World Dino Trackers Strike Attack Herrerasaurus. This is another figure that I got for my birthday, and I'm really excited because this is a brand new Herrerasaurus sculpt from Mattel after we've been getting their original sculpt for quite a few years now, and all of a sudden Mattel has given us a brand new sculpt. So I'm really excited to take a closer look at this one because I want to compare it to the old one. Taking a look at the box, it's your typical Dino Trackers box with the blue and beta in the corner there and the Dino Trackers and Jurassic World logo, plus the desert icon to signify this dinosaur is part of the desert environment. And then on the back of the packaging, it shows you how the figure works, the facts up information, the other dinosaurs you can get in the line, and that's basically it. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at this figure. Alrighty, so here we have the Strike Attack Herrerasaurus out of the box. Looking at this figure, it is very nice, especially when you take it out of the box. It definitely shows more of the full detail when you have the entire figure in hand and you can just take a look at it all the way around. This is a very, very nice figure and a huge step up from Mattel's previous Herrerasaur releases. And just by taking a look at this figure, you can't even tell if it's a Herrerasaurus, especially if you know what all the other dinosaurs that Mattel has made look like in terms of design. You would never have guessed this is a Herrerasaurus. At least that's how I thought when I first saw a picture of this guy. That, you know, it wasn't in the box or anything, so I couldn't tell what it was. But when I was looking at this thing, I was like, it looks like a Herrerasaurus, kind of, but there's no way because Mattel already has a Herrerasaurus already. So there's got to be something different. And then I saw the box, and there it is. It's a Herrerasaurus. So this is Mattel's new and improved version of this dinosaur. So it looks very cool looking. Definitely much better than Mattel's previous ones. Even though I really liked the past releases from Mattel, to be honest with you. But this new one definitely is a huge step up and makes it look a little bit more realistic, I guess, in terms of scientific accuracy. But yeah, it just looks really cool, actually. Better proportions, the way the head is sized compared to the body and the length of the tail and the length of the legs and the arms. It's definitely a much better proportionate dinosaur than Mattel's previous version. However, there is, I think, maybe one or two things on this figure that I kind of wish they would have kept from the past release, but we'll get into that later into the review. Let's take a look at the sculpt. So here's the head, a very nice looking head, very raptor-like, especially with the eye there and the way the jaws are lined up. But very cool head, very Herrerasaurus-like. In my opinion, it definitely has like the Herrerasaurus look to it. They gave it lips this time, so the teeth are not hanging out like the other version. So they gave it lips, which is pretty cool. Pretty much represents what all dinosaurs represented today look like. They're represented with lips, so their teeth won't show. But yeah, the detail on this thing is very good. On these smaller figures, their detail is just spot on. I mean, look at that face. You got nice scale work along the lips right there. Very fine scale work around the head area right here. A few scattered bumps. A lot of bumps here on the lower jaw. And then they're a lot more fine at the bottom. And you got some little bumps on the eye ridge there. The eyes are nicely sculpted. Same with the tiny little nostril right there. You can see a lot of the outlining of the skull, so there is a lot of shrink wrapping. And a lot more cool looking scale work on the top of the head here. Looking very cool, very menacing from the front angle there. But really cool looking Herrerasaurus face. I like this probably better than the other one. Moving on to the neck here, you got some more finer, small scale work with some larger bumps scattered around the neck and a row of spines that pretty much continues all the way down, at least to the this part of the back, at least above the legs. Doesn't continue down in the tail. Then you got like this cool little design right here with some ridges on the back here. I think that's just the way the skin is sculpted on this one. I don't think they're like armored scales or anything, but it's a cool looking design. By the way, you got a few wrinkles going on right there. especially here on this part of the neck. Nothing on the neck. It's right here. It's a little bit more smoother. Might be a few scales hidden here and there, but it's very smooth. And here on the body is where the scales shine. Look at all that fine scale work. Look at all individually sculpted scales. Look very nice. Give it like this realistic, real feel look, even though it's not rubber. But make it look really realistic. And then when you take pictures with this thing outside, the way the sun hits against these scales and the way the shadows are represented in each individual scale, it makes it look really realistic, in my opinion. But yeah, a lot of nice scale work all throughout the back here. A few bumps scattered here and there. Looking very nice. A little bit of muscle definition around here at the ribs. Some more wrinkles here up towards the bottom. And you get some more scale work sculpted, so it's not smooth like some of the other dinosaurs. The hands here are more muscular around here, so you can see the muscle definition. A lot of nice scale work. Here you got the hands, which are nicely sculpted with some nice little ridges there. Even on this part of the hand, you got some nice scale work on there as well. So looking very nice. You can see more of the ridges. Actually, the ridges start from the head, then they stop, but then they come back again towards where this button is, and then it's pretty much this entire area right here that are ridges, which that doesn't continue down to the tail, so that's very interesting and unique. The legs here, nice amount of scale detail all throughout. Some little bumps scattered, muscle definition. And then the feet are looking great on this figure. Definitely a huge step up from Mattel's past release. The feet on those were quite ugly to look at, I guess, now that I think about it. They were not good at all. These ones are like classic theropod feet, which look really nice. You got the little ridges there. Nice, large, long, sharp claws. Very bird-like. Kind of remind me of the sharp claws of flightless birds like emus or cassowaries. And then here towards the back end here, got some more wrinkles in the skin and some more finer scale work. The entire bottom of the tail, though, was very smooth with some little bit of scales here and there. See some more stretch marks right here in the skin. And then you got the scales that continue all the way down to the tip of the tail. So this thing is decked out in detail. And you got like this nice little spine ridge here that goes down to the tail, which looks very nice. So yeah, the overall sculpt on this Herrerasaurus figure is looking very good. Definitely really impressed with it. Mattel doesn't seem to disappoint me at all in terms of their detail. It looks really good. In terms of colors, the colors are very nice. Obviously, to match the desert environment, they gave it like this warm toned color scheme, to match a desert environment. I got a nice little gray head, which actually makes it stand out from the rest of the body, which I like that. That's pretty cool, especially with the yellow eyes. Makes it stand out. And then the entire body is like this orange color with the brown color on the back, this half of the body, and it kind of stripes up to the body there. But it looks really nice. And then you get the underbelly, which has a little bit more of that orange. So yeah, the colors are very nice, very simple, but it gets the job done, represents a desert environment very well. And I totally forgot about the mouth here. Here you got the teeth here, are nicely sculpted. Not sharp looking, but this is the best that you can really do when you're doing toys like these. But either way, they look really nice. Gum flaps there are sculpted nicely. Same with the tongue and the whole inside of the mouth. There isn't a whole lot of detail going on there, but gets the job done. Then the colors are very nice too. You get a nice pink fleshy color for the mouth, and then the nice yellow color for the teeth, which look really nice. Really wish the pink color was on the inside of the gums right there, as well as the roof of the mouth. That would work very well. But that's okay, because I have tons of Mattel figures that don't have that. In terms of articulation, you got an articulated jaw, which can open fairly wide. Very interesting. They gave it an articulated jaw. I would have thought that's what the action feature would have been for. And then the arms here can basically go all the way around 360, and they can pivot in and out, so you get some nice posability with this figure. And the legs here on these types of dinosaurs are always very stiff, but mine can go up about that far. You can't really force it. And then they can kind of go forward a little bit as well. But, you know, basic articulation, and then the hips can pivot in and out a little bit. So nice articulation there. And then the tail can also swivel, but obviously I don't use that because it breaks up the sculpt. And here is the scan code. Kind of stiff on this figure too. So there's that. And that basically wraps up for articulation. So very basic for these types of dinosaurs, but it works perfect for these size. So for the action feature, we got a little button right here that basically when you press it, just makes the head go up and down, which is very interesting. Would have thought they would have made the jaw open and shut or make the arms move, but nope, they gave it just a random head bobbing action, which I guess is cool. You can make it look like it's drinking water or something, or eating food, or trying to attack something. So it's cool. Probably would have preferred something a little bit more, I guess, tied into with the mouth or the hands, but you know, it is what it is. I like it. It's cool. So in terms of comparisons, we're going to compare it to a human first. So here we got a random mercenary, and I think these scale up very nicely. Kind of represents the Herrerasaurus very well, even though I believe Herrerasaurus was a little bit bigger than this. I know it was definitely bigger than your classic Jurassic Park Velociraptor, but I definitely think it was much bigger than this. But for a toy interpretation, this looks pretty good. And last but not least, here we have the new 2023 Herrerasaurus compared with Mattel's very first, or one of Mattel's very first Herrerasaurus figures from 2018, and this is the Attack Pack version. This is the main sculpt that Mattel is stuck with for the Herrerasaurus for quite a few years now until they release this new one. So it's definitely a huge step up, in my opinion. Definitely the new one is much better than the original. They're just so different. Like, you can definitely see how cool and better proportionate this one is, and then this one is, now I look at it, very funky looking. The body and the neck are kind of short in my opinion. I don't know, everything just kind of looks off with this one. It might be just because the shorter tail, but it just doesn't look better proportionate as the new one. So very cool to see these two different dinosaur figures, even though they're the same dinosaur, but two different versions from Mattel together like this. This is very interesting, but a very welcome decision from Mattel. You know, you see the difference in the heads here. This one definitely represented a Herrerasaurus head, probably a little bit better than this one, because the Herrerasaurus has like that certain shape to the mouth and the shape of the head. So I feel like if they could have done that with the new one, maybe it would have looked a little bit more like a Herrerasaurus. But you know, when you look at this one, I mean, it gets the job done, but I guess this one kind of represents Herrerasaurus just a little bit more. But I mean, they're both pretty cool looking. You can definitely see this one also has ridges, but these ones kind of pop in and out all the way through at least the tail, and this one only has it through like the body and not even the tail. You definitely see the feet here. The feet on this one is just ugly looking. They're like all the same length. The toes are the same length, which is not true. They'd be different lengths, kind of like the new one here. And plus, these ones are incredibly oversized, and these ones are like better sized compared to the legs. But very interesting to see both these together, and this one's definitely the much better, superior version. Plus, Mattel didn't even give this one the dew claw, which Mattel did to this one, which is a huge plus. Now, there is one thing that these old Herrerasaurus has that this new one doesn't, that I wish it did. I really wish they would have kept these hands. These are accurate to the real dinosaur in real life. The way these awkward hands look, they almost look like they're put on backwards. But no, this is in fact what Herrerasaurus looked like. I think they only had 3 fingers, but they kind of looked awkward like this. If they kind of kept these hands for this one, it would have been better. I think the 3 fingers is accurate, but the way they look, they're supposed to look like they're put on backwards, kind of like this. So if they kept this hand for this figure, this one would have been like the best, you know, top tier Herrerasaurus figure from Mattel. I mean, it already is either way, but I think it would have been a little bit better if they kept these hands in. But very cool to see these two together. They both have like that deserty, fiery look to it, especially with the tones of the original one. But very cool. Two different Herrerasaurus figures from like many years in between them. So that's really cool. So everyone, that's about to wrap it up for this review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. For my final thoughts, I really enjoy this Herrerasaurus figure. It's definitely much better than the original. The colors are great. The sculpt is great. The action feature could have been slightly better, but it works, you know, for what it is. But yeah, it's a pretty good figure, and I highly recommend it because it is an upgrade from the past one. Just kind of wish they would have kept those awkward looking hands on this new one instead. But yeah, basically a very good figure. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys again for the next one.